Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino, and it is Monday, January 3rd, 2022, people. Well, my first Monday morning report, and we have to talk. You're not even going to believe some of the things that are going on right now. You probably will, actually, if you follow this blog, but it just is so freaking outrageous. Well, we're going to talk about that. But before we even get there, number freaking one. So yesterday, when I did my markets look ahead, I covered my top 5 trends for 2022. Welcome to it. I want you to pay attention to the things I spoke about in that video. If you have not seen that video, I would strongly suggest watching it. Number 2, or actually really number 1, I want to thank all of you who step up to support my work. As you all know, at the beginning of each month, I ask for your support. I say, hey, if you think I'm doing a good job, send me $5. And I do place a link in the description of this video. And a bunch of you did step up to support my work. Thank you from the heart. I got your back, and I know you got mine. People, with that said, let's look at this freak show. The freak show is getting even freakier. Freakier. I don't know another way to put this. It's out of control, actually. So let's start off with the markets. Right now, stock futures are, let me guess, higher. Yeah, they are higher, pointing towards gains at the open. Trading doesn't start for about 45 minutes. All right, let's again, people, look at the drivers of the market. Let's look at the slope of the yield curve. Looks pretty good to me. All right, it's still relatively flat, but a lot better than it was several months ago. With that said, you got the 10-year yield about 1.55, the MMRI sitting at about 90. Link to the MMRI is in the description of this video. The US dollar, slightly weaker right now. Nothing major going on over there. So let's look at that. Right off the bat, you got a relatively normal slope of the yield curve. 10-year yield looking pretty good. You got a flat to slightly weaker dollar. All of this so far is pretty. Looking good for the market to put on gains here. Crude oil sitting at about $75 a barrel, going much higher in case you don't know that. But here again, another driver here. Again, why is crude oil a driver of the market? Because it supports, number 1, the machine, the military industrial complex. Crude oil is the lifeblood of this market. Period. The end. You all know that. The entire energy sector depends on the crude price of crude being high. And the financial sector, people, the banks, they are invested beyond their lovely eyeballs in crude oil. So there's the mechanism here. Crude goes up, they will keep it propped up, pulls the whole market with it. And as I said, the MMRI sitting at about 90 last time I looked at it. It's a nice setup for this market. And the bad economic news keeps coming. It's not going to stop. Debts and deficits continue to surge. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed from last year. So we don't deviate. We do not rattle, and we do not deviate from the strategy that we are on right now. Let's look over at Bitcoin and cryptos. They're higher. Nothing major right now. Bitcoin over 47,000. Gold and silver right now under a little pressure, despite the fact that the dollar, or the relative strength of the dollar, is weaker. Now, why is the freak show getting even worse? If you watched the video that I did yesterday, talked about my 5 top trends for 22, there's a lot of noise, a lot of calls for regulation with regard to cryptocurrencies now. What we have here is our so-called representatives who are desperate to defend the system, defend the Federal Reserve machine. That's what they're doing here. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is continuing to be called a threat to the system. Really, do our representatives really feel that the Federal Reserve is doing a good thing for the American people? Let's talk about that for a moment. Right now, according to their numbers, the current inflation rate is near 7%. Okay? Now, what have we been hearing for years from the Federal Reserve? Well, we got to hit that 2% target. We got to hit that 2% target. Well, not only have they hit their 2% inflation target, they blasted through it by what? 300%? More than 300%? And our so-called loving, caring, representatives, they want to defend that system. They want to defend the Federal Reserve System that is destroying not just the United States, but destroying the world. This system, the Federal Reserve System, is destroying the world and is destroying people. Again, make it up. Make this up, like I just said. Their numbers are telling us we're near 7% inflation. That's their numbers. We know it's much higher than that. Way surpassing the Federal Reserve's target of 2% by hundreds of percent. Meanwhile, our representatives want to defend that system because they feel like Bitcoin is a threat. This is why I am telling you, in my opinion, yes, expect even more volatility in the crypto space, but it must be in your portfolio, in my opinion. Until meaningful regulation happens, and I don't see it. I really don't. Well, I believe what you're going to hear is a lot of grandstanding and nonsense and dog shit from our so-called representatives who are out there defending the Federal Reserve System that's destroying people. Why? Again, they're not the government. The Fed is the government, and you all freaking know that. But anyway, that's the Freak Show this morning, and that's what we've been hearing a lot about lately. I covered this on Sunday. The freaks out there who don't represent us, we have no representation anymore. They want to defend that Federal Reserve System. Oh yeah, because it's working so well. Inflation is skyrocketing, people. And that was another one of my top 5 trends for 22. You can expect food and energy prices to skyrocket this year. And the other thing you're going to hear about, it was on this morning on Bloomberg. They had some other imbecile on Bloomberg who was talking about, oh yeah, inflation is going to start going lower here. You know, we're topping out. Bullshit, we're topping out. Look, I'm going to let you all in on a big secret here, although I have spoken about this many, many, many times. Number one, nothing is by accident. What you're seeing is all by design. Central banks, the Fed, on a deliberate money creation binge since the meltdown of '08, which all the market was trying to do at that point was correct to fair value. They won't allow that to happen. You remember how that played out? Dow dropped from 12,000 to 6,000. Then all of a sudden, no, we can't let it fall anymore. The Fed got in here and started buying it all, and they've never stopped. Henceforth, they have inflated a monster, a literal Frankenstein. I'm talking about the debt bubble, which has reinflated the stock market bubble, distortions across the spectrum of asset classes. And I told you again in my top 5 trends for 22, distortions in this market are going to get much, much worse moving forward. Price action, there's nothing here that has a real price discovery mechanism behind it. The suppression of precious metals will continue, and everybody knows who's doing it, people. It's JP Morgan. They're going to continue to rig the price of metals until they can't. And when can't they? Again, it's very simple to understand. All this is easy. There's nothing here that I'm talking about that's difficult. The debt market is a hyperbubble. We know that. It cannot be sustained. Excuse me. My nose is so freaking itchy. But they're going to try to keep it propped up. So with that said, you can expect, again, another one of my trends for 22 to continue. The Fed is going to absolutely continue to pump easy money into this market, suppress rates from here to kingdom come. You're going to see the absolute strength of the dollar, not the relative strength, continue to crater as the middle class gets wiped out. This is an elimination. It's an extermination on a global scale. And, our representatives, all they're concerned about is supporting the Federal Reserve System. That's what they want to do because, again, they understand where this is going. A one world government, a new world order. And that's it. You and I are caught in the crossfire with no representation whatsoever. It doesn't matter who sits behind that Resolute desk, even the last guy. A lot of you still love him out there. Don't matter who sits there. It could be a farm animal. He was calling for the Fed to keep rates low. He was calling for negative rates. He was calling for a weaker dollar. How would that have helped you? Wouldn't help you at all. Again, you must have been kept distracted. Look over here. Don't look over here. They all work for the system, the beast system. You understand? But you and I can take this beast system and weaponize it against them, the freak show, because they are our enemy. You understand? They are. And how long? Well, for years, I've been telling you, it's every man and every woman for him or herself. But at the same time, we're in this together, people, and we got to support each other. And I will never, never, never let you down. You all know that. I've kept you on the right side of this market for a very, very long time. I put you all in the right spots. So no matter what comes down the pike, you're okay. You understand? Anyway, I was just jotting some stuff down here this morning, people. Oh yeah, this Evergrande thing. I was getting some emails today. So Evergrande, the property giant out of China, they halted their stock trading over there. And again, a lot of you believe this is the black swan. It is not the black swan. And the reason I can tell you why it's not the black swan that's going to bring this all down is because we're hearing too much about it. When the system does come down, it's going to be from something no one expects, way out of left field. If you can hear about it and know about it in advance, it's not the black swan. So please, people, again, my email box lit up like a Christmas tree this morning. This is not the black swan. And if anyone out there is telling you it is the black swan, turn them off because they don't know what they're looking at. They don't understand the market. And if you're looking for guidance by someone like that, you're really being misled. And I hate to see that because we don't have to lose ever. You understand? Ever. We got it covered. People, that's it. Lots of important stuff in this video. Please share it. Get it out there. And one more time, thank you to all of you who support my work at the beginning of every month. And if you feel like doing that, there is, again, a link in the description of this video. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. I will see you at the end of the day. It's going to be just a freak show.